All right, as I promised a few videos ago, more GT Sport. And I'll just set the scene here. This is an exhibition race that we ran with a couple of the guys from the F1 League that I run. And most of us don't actually play GT Sport that much. The guy in second here, Ghost726, who sort of set up the exhibition race, he does play GT Sport quite a bit. I think he runs in a league actually with someone else from our F1 league. They do a GT Sport league. They're part of a GT Sport league that runs sometimes. So I think he plays it a decent amount. Definitely more than I play it. Definitely more than I think most of the rest of us in here play it. I think KB, Jeff, me, Chris KYU62, JRack, Incident, Juzzy, Alex. I think we've all played it some, but don't regularly play it. So this is far from a group of experts playing the game. So we're all sort of getting our bearings here as we play this a little bit. So what you're seeing here is a little piece of qualifying. It's an 8-minute qualifier, and I think I set 4 or 5 laps, but I'm only going to show you the best one, almost as if it was just a one-shot situation, which it's obviously not. It's a qualifying session, but with 8 cars on the track, I mean, it essentially was a one-shot, just because there wasn't a lot of dealing with other cars, I guess. And, I mean, it's not a one-shot because I ran like 5 laps, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I set a decent lap here, and you see me cross the line here in a second. It's shaping up to be high 130s. Looks like we end up at 139.773, which puts me at P3 at the moment. But then skipping to the end of qualifying here, you see that my 139.773 actually puts me at starting at P6 here, and I'm in a McLaren. And you'll get to see the livery here in a second. I really like it. Found it on the livery Discovery. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that's a good look. I love the look of that. So anyway, we're starting P6 here. I get off the line rapidly. Just a really nice start for me. I was really happy with that. And we're just going into this first lap here. I don't really know how people are going to treat this first corner. You see KB brakes kind of early. I sort of responded and braked a little bit early as well. I will go ahead and warn you. You may have seen this in my previous GT Sport videos that I've uploaded kind of recently, but I'm not very good in GT Sport. I wouldn't say that I'm awesome in F1 either, but I would say that I'm better in F1 than I am in GT Sport. So bear with me a little bit here. Please don't judge too much. Don't laugh at me in the comments. I mean, you can if you want to, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't. I'm into P4 here. It looks like I have a decent shot at flying by Alex here. I'm slightly behind him. Ghost is already off to a mega start, which is not surprising. He's a good driver already, and he plays this game quite a bit. So I don't think anybody is surprised that he's kind of running away with it already. He's, 4.5 seconds up on me. I'm just trying to keep pace with KB. I'm assuming that behind that, most of these people aren't really going to catch me. So it also depends a little bit on pit strategies because I don't have one. I don't have a pit strategy. I had previously done some sport mode races where pitting was an option, but it wasn't required. It was just a matter of, I guess, do you want to run on used mediums for the whole race or do you want to pit late for softs? And outside of that, I've never done, I've done some AI races where pitting is important. It's part of the strategy. But outside of that, I've never done a race with others where pitting is a real concern. So I honestly had no idea what to expect here. So I finished my first lap there, P3, which is pretty nice after starting P6. Going in here, this is the 4th lap. You see it pop up with the please refuel, remaining fuel 1.2 laps. And I could have gone another lap, clearly, given I have 1 lap of fuel left, but I didn't. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to that. I just figured I would pit. So you see this irresponsible amount of time that it takes to refuel, which is annoying. And I'm sitting here doing the math like, okay, can I go 1 stop on this race? Is that a possibility? I decide, no, I'm not going to go 1 stop. I'll pit late, put a couple of laps of fuel in the car, maybe put some softs on and see how I can finish off. So did not pit there, but I almost do wonder if it would have been a better strategy to try to run a 1 stop. And we can reflect on that at the end of the race. But just moving forward here on lap 8, you see me just have a good lead over Juzzy and everybody else except for Ghost, and I just put it into the wall, which is just dumb. I just braked way too late. It was stupid. I was up, 9 seconds on Juzzy, I think. After that, it comes down to roughly 4 seconds and getting smaller and smaller all the time. So that was a disastrous mistake by me, and I'm hopeful that I can recover from that and still manage to get P2. I don't have any hope at P1 at this point, but I'm still hopeful that I can get P2 despite my errors there. You see me kick a cone up, and if you look in the back of you see it go flying. I was actually kind of surprised at the way it flew, but whatever. So anyway, lap 9 here. You see Juzzy's got it to less than a second. He was just rapid in this race. Dude was flying on the track. I mean, he was a lot faster than I was. And I think the only reason that I'm ahead of him here is the fact that he had some issues. Like, he went off track on lap 1. You probably saw that. He was in the pits longer than I was because I think he refueled up to 100%. I'm assuming he did a one stop. I'm not positive about that. But based on the fact that he fueled up to 100%, I do wonder if he went one stop. And he's just faster than I am on the track, which doesn't surprise me. He historically has been. I did not take a great entry into that corner. I think Juzzy had to brake a little bit to avoid hitting the back of me, actually. So it sort of worked out in my favor, but not because it was good driving by me or anything like that. You see Juzzy make up some time right there, too. So he's within 0.4 seconds, and we're going into this last final sort of wide radius turn here, and I go way deep. Juzzy gets the opportunity to go inside of me, and I did not make contact with him there, but there was he did spin out a little bit. So unfortunate for him, but he's now over 30 seconds behind me. So at this point, it's just a question of whether these people behind me are going to pit as well, whether they need to, and I don't think Juzzy needs to. So you see me here. I put on softs, fuel up. We're on lap 10 of 13, so I figure I've got 3 laps left. So we get right over 3 laps, 3.2. I go for it. I repair the damage because I'm pretty sure the damage will slow you down a bit. So I felt like it was probably smart. Again, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know anything about the damage in this game. I don't know anything about pit strategies in this game outside of just generally what I know and understand about racing. So the lead on Juzzy was about 7 or 8 seconds there. You see now we're on lap 12. He's got it within a second of me. That was a combination of me making errors, just not taking the ideal line in places, of him also just being faster than I am. So whatever has contributed to the situation, he's now about half a second behind me, and we're going into the last lap here. So we're shaping up for a really nice finish. And I pretty much recognize that my only defense here is going to be, or my only opportunity here is just going to be defense. I mean, I don't have the pace in this guy. I'm certainly not going to catch Ghost, who's 43 seconds ahead of me. Also, another thing about the one stop that I just remembered, this is the first race I had done on my wheel in GT Sport. This was recorded, I think, before some of the recent stuff that I've uploaded. So I didn't have any idea how to adjust the fuel mapping. And if I did, I would have been able to go lean fuel or aggressive fuel or rich fuel mix, whatever it's called, I forget. But I had no fuel mapping ability, and I think I probably cut it out, but there were a few times I was just pressing buttons trying to figure out how to fuel map, because I knew how to do it on controller, but this isn't on controller, I'm on wheel. So I think I would have been better off if maybe I had been able to adjust my fuel map. I maybe would not have been as well off as Ghost, but in retrospect, I would have done a one stop here. I would have figured out how to fuel map, and I would have made the one stop work. Instead, I wasted 15 or 20 seconds or whatever it was in the pits for my second stop, and put myself in this position here where Juzzy has a real opportunity to catch me. And kudos to him. He's driving his lights off. He got a way better entry into that turn than me. He's within 0.2 seconds as we're going into this final wide radius turn, and you see me just go a little too deep. I should have stuck it to the inside line and made him go around if I was going to make him do it, but I just misplayed it a little bit. He got perfect entry into it, and we're neck and neck going down the line here to the finish. You see him just get ahead, and we ultimately are separated by 0.013 seconds, which is about as tight as we possibly could have made it. So it's tough to finish P3 there when I felt like P2 was in the bag, but man, what a race. What a race with Jesse.